All right, man. Torch the talk. Hey, how y'all doing, man? Hope everybody's good. Hope everybody's well. You know what I'm saying? I'm doing very well. I hope y'all out there having a good time. You know what I'm saying? Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, whatever time it is for you is usually good morning, good afternoon, good evening. But you know what I'm saying? Sometimes I mess up because I ain't perfect. Anyway, so today we're gonna be talking about Drake taking three big L's. You know what I'm saying? Three big L's. And I'm going to explain those three big L's, and that's going to be that. Also, too, at the end of every episode, I'm going to try to give y'all a question, whether it's related to the topic or whether it's what's the name. Might not be related to the topic. But you can answer the question. It's going to be a fun little thing that I do from now on. You know what I'm saying? So I started it yesterday. And yeah, so if you're interested, just stay to the end and check out the question. So yeah, man. Before I get into that, you know I gotta get a legendary spill. This is Torch to Talk. If you like the content, please consider subscribing. If you're new here, let me work for your subscription today. All the beautiful, single, sexy ladies, put one in the chat. All the fellas, y'all know where to find the ones at. Just don't harass them. I don't sell no merch, but I do have content. Absolutely free, but if you want to leave a donation, link is in the description. Cash App. No more PayPal. They call me a hidden gem. 1,300 subscribers, over 16,000. And yes, I am the king of the north. Let me know what kingdom you from. So let's get to it, man. Let's do it. All right, this comes courtesy of Fantastic Hip Hop. You know what it is, man. So let's get to it.
Now, when it comes to Drake, after embarrassing himself with whatever weird imitation of Kendrick Lamar we saw in the Nokia music video, following dissing somebody within the exact same way that he is trying to say that other people did to ruin his career, Drake ran back to his lawyers and to the judge to try and get validation that everything he is trying to prove within this time is indeed right. And with what just happened, while the judges told Drake he can move forward with the most anti-hip-hop thing in the genre's history, and while they denied UMG's motion to stop this ridiculous thing from going any further, and because of this, Drake and his team are trying to act like this is a win with ridiculous...
Is Drake praying? Was that a prayer? The sixth God praying? All right, so look. This is the most anti-hip-hop thing I ever seen. Let's be clear here. I want y'all to understand. This is the most anti-hip-hop thing I ever seen. Three biggest L's, and I'm gonna explain that at the end. But this is the most anti-hip-hop thing I ever seen. So let's keep it going.
Celebratory statements which read, "Now it's time to see what UMG was so desperately trying to hide." In actuality, from both Drake being exposed for straight up lying about major things that he was trying to push across already, to now knowing that Drake's label is going to reveal everything, including his own secrets. Really, while Drake may have thought that he had a W here, this is only going to make their eventual failure much worse than ever. And now, before we go and...
That's exactly what I'm saying. You asked for this, so now you get to see. Now we get to see what we were doing for you too. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is gonna be very. Oh my God, this is so interesting. I love this. This is gonna be very interesting. Very, very interesting.
further into this, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. And as we are about to talk about one of the most pivotal moments in hip-hop ever, really, it has never been more important to leave that like so everybody can really hear what's going on with Drake. And so now, with that said, when it comes to the softest, most pathetic, and desperate rapper we have ever seen right now with Drake, man, this Karen thing for him really seems to be doing better than the whole rap thing, because really, Drake's little fan base and team seem to be way more happy and excited about being a little validated within their delusions here than releasing their own quote-unquote art with the Nokia music video. And the most baffling part about this all is that the people around Drake and his fans don't even understand what's going on, and they are just trying to bend this moment.
Yeah, he definitely gonna take these L's. I'm telling y'all now. And once this all comes out, it'll be funny if they reveal his things too. Like I said, that'll be funny as well. But let's keep it going, man.
That they exactly want to push, and to try and once again make this industry-wide gotcha moment where they are trying to show once and for all that Drake's a mastermind and that he was always going to win against the industry and his label, and that they knew this failure was all fake in this time and that he could never do any wrong. Which, for all of these ridiculous things that they think, I got bad news for them, because while this moment may be an okay enough thing for Drake's little team to send out a letter and act like they are in the lead right now, which again, that's the whole point, they are trying to just play up audiences to think they are right and to scare Drake's label and to turn the people, it's really not all that, and that's because with what just happened, for UMG and their team, their motion to stay Discovery was denied, which means that Drake's label was just trying to put a halt to what was going on and stop this all in their tracks before it could go any further. Because I am sure, beyond them knowing how Not Like Us became the hit that it did organically, as they are also Drake's label and benefit from his music and catalog, they didn't want to take this thing to a place where they have to end up ruining his entire image and the value of what his music has been worth. Because I am sure if they have...
And that's what's going to happen right there. Once they expose, they'll have to take him down as well. This is how stupid this dude is. I think he thinks that he's doing this and it's just a thing where he's actually coming out on top and he's looking good at doing it. Nah, dog. It's not happening, bro. It's not happening. It's not happening, bro.
To expose the truth about Drake, they will, but it will ruin the worth of even his most coveted projects. But of course they don't want any of this to go there, hence why they were trying to stop this. But with what Drake wanted his team to use and say to try and push every single narrative they possibly could to make people feel bad for him, he has now given his label no other choice than just to end everything, because really, with half of the stuff Drake did here, they showed that they really are just taking any talking point they can and are trying to push the worst narratives about it to defend the guy, and from them finally admitting that all of the claims about Not Like Us and Kendrick Lamar's success being from bots just to be something that they don't even believe in enough to keep going with it, so they drop the angle, which is hilarious because after Drake...
Y'all see that? I told y'all. Man, I'm always right, man. I told y'all. Well, I technically didn't say that, all of that, but I did say they was going to drop some of this stuff. I did say that. And I kind of knew they was going to drop the botting thing. I kind of knew that. But yeah, I told y'all.
And all of the low-ranking OVO affiliates have been saying this stuff over and over again to try and discredit and dispute the organicness of Kendrick Lamar's success. Now they are just dropping these claims when it actually mattered to try and prove them, but really what this shows is that Drake and his team have been pulling points and narratives even when they don't believe in them or think they are going to go anywhere, and are just dangling them in front of people's faces to try and attract his fans into believing them so they can support Drake however they can, and they have their talking points to discredit Kendrick, which really this is exactly what we have seen with this point, because Drake's fan base has already ran with this narrative and they won't change their mind even after Drake and his guys tried to quietly pull this thing out of what they are trying to say. And in a way, seeing how
It's funny. Drake must really like the dance. And some of these videos he be doing I just be thinking to myself, like, what the hell is this nigga thinking? Like, if you look at this scene right here, what is this? Like what is he? What is this, man? What is this? Again, man, I'm not hating on the kid. I ain't hating on the boy. But what is this, bro? Like, sometimes I think he be thinking, like, yo, if I put my head on the joint like this, right, and I look into the camera with one eye, you know what I'm saying? That's what I think people going to really like. So you put your head down like this, and I look in the camera, and it's kind of like, you know what I'm saying? It's just kind of like. That's all it is. Like, put my head here, and I look into the camera. What you think? Yeah, do that. Yeah. That's him, man. This is crazy.
Drake made sure to use this narrative to get everyone all riled up and have an easy point of understanding when it came to what he wanted to use to discredit Kendrick Lamar. And now he's just saying that he doesn't want to use this anymore, and that's because there is no information to back up what he is saying. And if anything, I am sure his label could expose him here for doing the same thing he is claiming Not Like Us did as well. And really, with all of this, Drake has once again given us another reason that can be added to the very long list of why he is maybe the biggest Karen in not just hip-hop, because we are past that, but music and really anything ever. And now in all of this, speaking of convenient moments to try and drag out things to make Drake look like this victim of Not Like Us's messaging, they have added and are using every possible moment that Not Like Us has been a part of during its victory lap to try and strengthen what they are saying, including none other than moments like the Super Bowl halftime show, which they are trying to claim that despite Drake already telling his label and everybody how bad this entire song has been for his image, that they are continuing to let it have a bigger and bigger stage, and with the victim mentality.
Look at that nigga right there. He happy as hell. Yo, that look like Baby Keem. That Baby Keem? I think that's Baby Keem, bro. I think that's Baby Keem. Baby Keem was in the joint. Ain't nobody know. Baby Keem. Yo, that is funny, man. That's funny, yo. Like, oh my God. But yeah. I definitely think that they trying to use the Super Bowl as an angle. Like, oh look, see, he was just disparaging my character. He made me feel bad. Like, shut up, nigga. No, he didn't. Shut up.
We are seeing from Drake both for the Grammys and the Super Bowl. I mean, I don't even know how you could show face in that Nokia video when you were trying to pull at the most desperate strings you can to do one thing at the end of the day, which is that no matter what else you were trying to prove, you just want to drag down Kendrick Lamar, because with how this entire thing is being presented and where it's all clearly going, that is so clearly all this losing side really wants. But now, after an all-time theatrical performance from Drake, what is officially now happening on their end? And what his desperate fanbase and team are trying to push as a win, but it's really not that. Is that this entire case is only going to continue, and now Drake and his team will be able to get access to some of the 18 requests that they want to see from his label. And to be honest, when we look at some of the stuff that Drake wants to see, like Kendrick Lamar's record contracts, it really does seem like he is doing all of this just to be messy and to make things more complicated and to annoy everyone, especially including Kendrick, rather than him thinking that he can win this thing fully. Because with all of this, despite Drake
it just really hit me that Kendrick Lamar said at the Super Bowl, because you know they like to sue, right? Bro, I'm telling y'all now, man, this has to be the greatest, funniest moment of all time in hip hop history. It has to be. It really does. This is crazy to me, man. This is crazy. This is crazy.
Being the biggest Karen in hip-hop ever, and that is for sure, and that is a title that I don't think anybody's ever going to take from him. Drake has not won anything or has come close to turning the tides. And really, when we look at what this means, all that has happened is that the arena is open now for information to be looked at and brought back and forth between the parties, also that Drake can try and make sense of what has happened with Not Like Us. But obviously for both Drake's team, who issued the celebratory statement they did, and for Drake's fans who are running around like he just changed and saved the music industry, just for them to get some sort of anything at this point, it means so much for them, because they do believe Drake is a hero and think that everything he is saying is fully right. But again, and this is the big thing to consider for everybody, while they may think they got something here, now as this case is going to go forward and information is going to start coming out, there are so many different directions that this thing can go in, and all of them are really going to go more than wrong for Drake when you really think about it. Because this whole narrative...
That's 100% facts. That's a fact. This ain't gonna go it's not gonna go good for Drake, because obviously they was doing the same thing for him. So all of this stuff he's asking for, it's not gonna fare well for him. I don't know what y'all celebrating for. I really don't. And I'm gonna explain to y'all what the big three losses, his biggest three losses is. But I don't know what y'all celebrating for.
Around the success of Not Like Us isn't just so obviously his way of trying to cope with taking the biggest L in hip-hop history, but there are so many other things that can go wrong for Drake now that this is open. And I mean, even when it comes to the whole narrative of Drake being suppressed by the industry, which as it stands now is a lie. In reality, I am sure with Drake pushing this entire situation to a place where it's just gonna get a lot more messy for everyone involved, his label will stop giving him support eventually, and they may even start to pull back on his old work, because by Drake doing all of this and not just angering the hip-hop community, but also now having the chances to have his own secrets come to light about how his music has been able to be so successful, which again, if you've been paying attention for a while, you have known is not fully organic, Drake really can end up devaluing what his own catalog is worth, which I think is something that UMG has obviously not wanted to happen, because when we talk about why Drake still does such good streaming numbers, it's not because of SSS for You or diss tracks or anything he's done recently, but it's because of records like Take Care and Views that still have songs that are being played a lot more than the new stuff is. And if you go back and look at some of the claims Drake's label was making, which were saying that this can't go any further because it's going to be so costly to all parties and it just won't be worth what's going to happen, thinking about it through this lens makes a lot more sense, and this could have been one of the many reasons why they were trying to stop this from going forward.
Yeah, I think this is gonna go bad for Drake. And I'm not saying that to be funny or because people think I don't like Drake or because I like Kendrick more. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. This is not gonna go well. A lot of this is what's gonna really happen is they're gonna pay out a lot of money, and these record labels they're not gonna forget what Drake has done. They're not gonna forget it. And trust and believe they're gonna get their redemption one way or another. They're going to. They always do. They always do. Nobody's bigger than the music industry. No artist. Not even Michael Jackson, not Prince, nobody, bro. Telling you. Trust me.
Because now with where they are at, they have no choice but to do the very worst thing for Drake, which is going to be to show everyone the person and artist he really is, which will reveal how much of a hypocrite he both is from an artistic and industry perspective when it comes to his reactions from the success and effectiveness of Not Like Us as a whole. And both from the fact of what Drake is doing for artists and how they can express themselves, but also now for how they are going to have to go against him and reveal the truth, and most likely at the end of this have the public see him in a completely different manner for letting everyone know what has always been going on here. I mean, at the worst point, they are going to end up losing a catalog of music that is worth a lot, of course, with Drake's older work and songs, and so with us just being in this moment, while this entire situation is very well going to end up horribly for Drake still, because even with him being allowed to get information, that still does not mean there is anything to show what he is proving, because again, it really seems like he is going to get all of this and then just find out that Not Like Us was an organic hit and that he is completely delusional. Still, as we are going to be hearing more and more about this situation, and Drake is going to keep dragging things out, as rap fans and people who just appreciate good music and good bars, this is going to get even more tiring than we have seen, and until the day comes where Drake is exposed for being the fraud that we know he is, we're not just going to have to deal with his team and Drake himself acting like they have something.
I just noticed that in the background. Tell me what y'all think this is in the background. What is that right there?
Oh, he is.
What is that right there? What is that right there? What's that? I'm just saying. What is that? I'm just saying. Y'all tell me what y'all think that is. I know what it is, but y'all tell me what y'all think it is. I know a lot of y'all probably didn't even notice that. A lot of y'all probably didn't. But that's crazy. Let's keep it going.
You're not just going to have to deal with his team and Drake himself acting like they have something here and acting like they are going to save the industry by doing this, which of course they are not, but also for hip-hop itself, as this becomes a bigger and bigger deal, and if rappers are already not thinking about this, the art of lyricism is just going to get nerfed, because MCs will be scared to say things and go at one another if they think that if they go too far, the person on the losing end may try to go to measures and extents to get some sort of a consolation that they will do what Drake does. And really, this is just the scary part of this all, and why Drake should just never be looked at as a rapper again, and why it's annoying when people try to say to let go of the beef or what he has done, because with him flexing his suits like we've seen with statements and comments already, beyond him and Kendrick, he is trying to ruin this whole thing we know as hip-hop. So really going forward, as Drake tries to find out everything about Not Like Us and really just makes everything messy to levels we have never seen, as again, he wants Kendrick's record contract, which is just so weird, and I'm sure he's gonna only get a lot more from there. While Drake may not seem like he has a strong point, this doesn't mean things won't get very annoying and that we are about to see some of the most ridiculous and chaotic times that we have ever seen in hip hop because, again, with all of the noise that Drake is trying to bring around him, which we have talked about already, he is really at this point just trying to take down hip hop as an art form, tool, and culture with him. And so, for everybody who loves this thing called rap music, whether it's fans, artists, or anybody in between, it's never been more important to stand up and call out Drake for doing things like this and continue to support the best and most important things in hip hop. And if people like Kendrick Lamar just keep winning and Drake just eventually keeps spiraling out with things like this, well then no matter how bad all of this seems, hip hop will be alright no matter how much rap's only Karen tries to ruin the entire genre and take so many years of history and musical greatness away. And so now with all this said, let me know, what do you think?
All right, man. Make sure y'all go follow Fantastic Hip Hop. Now, with all that said, let me know. All right, so look, man. All right, so look. The big three things, the big three L's that Drake has taken. One is him losing to Kendrick. That's one of the biggest L's in hip hop history. The second biggest L is him filing a complaint. A rapper filing a complaint, or if you want to call him a rapper, I don't. I say he's a pop star. But a musician, pop star, whatever you want to call him, filing a complaint against a rapper. Knowing that totally goes against hip hop. And the third biggest L is if he wins this. If he loses, that's a big L. If he wins, it's an even bigger L. And I know y'all probably saying, well, if he wins, how's that a bigger L? Because that means that hip hop is going to change forever because of him. And you're going to be able to have people doing things or saying things that y'all most likely love. Just imagine now the record label's going to say, which would be a good thing, in my opinion. The record label say, well, can't use the word nigga no more. You know what I'm saying? That's a possibility. So there's some good that can come out of this. But at the same time, it's really going to destroy freedom of speech. And record labels are prepared for anything. They're prepared for that because what they can do, they'll just not release the music. And they'll just release music that doesn't have derogatory things or things that are inflammatory or saying things that people can deem as disrespect. They'll just change that. They'll say, well, you can't release this. They kind of do it now, but they'll do it to the point where, like, because you can't come out and you can't rap about killing Popo. You know what I'm saying? You can't make a song called The Popo Killers. You know what I'm saying? You can't do that. People are going to have a problem with that. You know what I'm saying? So, that's the thing. Okay, question of the day. And this is going to be a real doozy. And I want y'all to think about this before you answer it, because some of y'all might just say no off the rip. Would you have a problem with your ex dating a friend of yours? Would you have a problem with that? Would you have a problem with your ex dating a friend of yours? If they truly liked each other, would you care, or would you care and support them, or would you say, no, I don't agree with this? Your ex and a good friend of yours dating. All right, man. Thank y'all. Appreciate y'all for being here with me. I'm out of here. Torture Talk. Make sure y'all go subscribe to Torture Talk After Hours. It's doing really well over there. Yeah, man. And yeah. I'll see y'all. Peace. Bye.